When you're using the quadratic formula, it's just like factoring. You have to have it equal to 0 before you can say what A and B and C are. Here we've got something equal to 3, so we get it, before we think of the quadratic formula, we get it equal to 0 by subtracting 3 from both sides. And there's no like terms there, so we would have 2x squared minus 4x minus 3 equals 0. So looking at this, A is the number in front of x squared, which is 2. B is the number in front of x, which is negative 4. And C is the constant term at the end, which is negative 3. So setting up our formula for this one, it always starts out like this. Every problem begins this way. My writing's kind of messy here. And then it's just going to be a matter of filling in the numbers. But it always starts out like this. So in this case, A is 2. A goes in the formula here and here. B is negative 4. B goes in the formula here and here. C is negative 3, which goes in the formula right there. Now that we've plugged things in, we can simplify it. The opposite of negative 4 is a positive 4, so we change that negative 4 and just make it 4. And we do the squaring and multiplying. Negative 4 squared. Remember, a negative number, when you square it, it's a negative times a negative, which makes it positive. So there we have a positive 16. Negative 4 times 2 times negative 3, let's see, that's going to be a positive 24. And on the bottom of the equation, 2 times 2 is 4. Let's see if I can make this a little bit neater there. There we go. Next, you add the numbers under the square root. We have 4 plus or minus the square root of 40 divided by 4. We have not yet learned how to simplify the square root of 40. That's something we'll go over later on. But for right now, you could just stop there, and we can't simplify it. So you have two answers. One would be 4 plus the square root of 40 over 4. The other one would be 4 minus the square root of 40 over 4. Later on this quarter, we'll go over how to simplify roots like that, and we'll deal with that then, how you would proceed from there. Let's take a look at one more. Here we have x squared minus 6x minus 1 equals 5. Again, we need it to be equal to 0. So to get it equal to 0 so that we can use the quadratic formula, we subtract 5 from both sides. That gives us x squared minus 6x minus 6 equals 0. So now, looking at this, we would have x squared, remember, is the same thing as 1x squared. So we'd have a equals 1, b equals negative 6, and c equals negative 6. So recognizing that, we can set up our quadratic formula fraction the same way we always do. Boy, my hands are shaky today. A lot of squiggly lines. It's always set up the same way. That's one reason why, even though it's long and takes a little while to learn, I like the quadratic formula problems because it's the same setup and the same steps every time, just different numbers. So for this problem, A is 1. So I put a 1 here, a 1 here. B is negative 6. So I put a negative 6 there and negative 6 there. C is negative 6. So I put a negative 6 right there. So now it's just a matter of simplifying it. The negative of negative 6 is a positive 6. Negative 6 squared is 36. Negative 4 times 1 times negative 6 is plus 24. On the bottom, 2 times 1 is 2. We add the stuff under the square root, and we get 6 plus or minus the square root of 60 divided by 2. And again, we haven't yet at this point in the course talked about how to simplify the square root of 60. So you can just leave it as 6 plus the square root of 60 over 2 and 6 minus the square root of 60 over 2.